Vilanova Ila Geltrú. Beautiful afternoon here for race one in the 37th America's Cup preliminary regatta. The second one is in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia in early December, and then a third in August next year in Barcelona as we head towards the America's Cup. But that third regatta will be the AC 75. But right now, we are setting up for a start in race number one.
Yeah, we've got 35 seconds to go, and we can see the fleet starting to jostle for that final position. It's going to be a real balancing act, making sure you get that final manoeuvre, coming back into the start, staying up on the foil so you can hit the line at full speed. And we've got most of the fleet over to the right-hand side of the screen with 18 seconds to go, lining up on starboard. You've got Emirates Team New Zealand just putting in a jibe at the bottom of the screen, potentially getting a little bit late. You've got American Magic just starting above the line, going to do a final dip to get across the line with 5 seconds to go. It's American Magic looking good to me, lining up with 2, 1, and American Magic off the line. What a start.
OCS well, the boats are all over the place, and the only one that got time on distance was American Magic, and they are good to go. And you've got Lingy Red Bull Racing still stuck further up the course, but we are away in racing.
Yeah, these two boats, American Magic, Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli down towards the leeward end. They got beautiful starts. Ineos, Britannia coming off on port. Emirates Team New Zealand coming off on starboard wood end. Ineos here are the giveaway boat. New Zealand are managing to squeeze round the bow, and that has meant a touchdown for GBR.
Let's go onto the water. What is going on with Ineos and also a Lingy Red Bull, Glenn?
Yeah, look, in the last sort of minute and a half before the start, Breeze just dropped a click. I think caught a few teams out on that one, and I think at the moment it's going to be all about staying on the foils. These first few manoeuvres are going to be absolutely critical. Another pulse of breeze coming down from the top of the course, so they'll be doing everything they possibly can to link those two pressure lines up and stay on the foils.
Yeah, it's looking really tough out there. Ineos Britannia stuck at the moment in the middle of the course off the foils, but it looks like Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli and American Magic have both made their tack stick on that left-hand side boundary and are coming back across to the middle of the course foiling. Orient Express Racing up on the foils. Brilliant tack there by them to get back onto starboard and hopefully back in the race.
The game here is about staying on the foils, and certainly the boats tracking this way, USA, Italy, did make their first tack stick. The New Zealand have also now tacked on the far left. They are on the foils. Advantage probably to Emirates Team New Zealand, although American Magic are matching them, certainly paralleling towards the right-hand side. American Magic would be about in the middle of the course.
Glenn, how much are these boats losing in these tacks? Can you tell from the water?
Yeah, I think they're both basically losing about 6 to 8 knots of boat speed in each of these manoeuvres in these conditions. They're really trying to keep the boat sailing really fast in this. Really doing a great job. American Magic actually ripping across the course here. We'll see attack from there fairly shortly, just in front of Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli.
So just keep your eye on the bottom of the screen if you want to follow who's where as far as the race is concerned. We're on leg 1 of 6 here in Vilanova, and Emirates Team New Zealand hold the lead from American Magic, followed by Orient Express Racing, Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli, and Ineos Britannia and Lingy Red Bull Racing just in a wee bit of bother.
Yeah, these 4 boats, it's pretty nail-biting actually as to who's going to come out on top towards the second half of this first upwind leg. We've got a crucial cross here. Looks like Emirates Team New Zealand are across American Magic, so just sneaking into the lead, but they've got another tack to do pretty soon.
Each tack is really key to this upwind leg, staying on the foils. It's very close between New Zealand and American Magic. New Zealand were behind off the line, but they've really been able to put the pedal to the metal. Now, Glenn, what I am seeing here is it looks like the New Zealanders use slightly less cant than everyone else. Their foils are tucked under the boat a little bit more. Just talk us through cant versus righting moment.
A really nice tack there by Emirates Team New Zealand. Very, very polished manoeuvre, that one. They are running a fractionally more tucked under cant than I think some of the other teams. American Magic quite similar compared to some of the other boats, but they're doing a really nice job keeping the boat moving quickly. A little acceleration coming into the tack, a couple of knots of speed build, making sure they had plenty of pace to actually get through the manoeuvre and then re-accelerate the boat quickly. So some slight different setups, and the top end of the course here is going to be very interesting.
They'll be ducking.
Definitely not lane, so it's just getting past them.
Magic go forward down now. They're on a pretty tight lay for me, Magic.
Starting to build here, guys.
Yep, starting, yeah, nice. And they're about 10 away, and I don't even think they're laying peak. They might come up.
Yes, they are. They're definitely
Okay, 5 seconds to hit them.
2, 1, what down? Yeah, ignore the mark if you need to.
1.
Really aggressive move there by Emirates Team New Zealand, tacking in phase with American Magic, right on top of them, giving them maximum dirt and really making their life pretty hard here at the top of the first leg.
Heading towards the first mark for the very first time, top mark for the first time, and it will be Emirates Team New Zealand that will round the mark, but boy, they are doing it tough and have touched down.
Yeah, they had to squeeze for the mark. They were slightly underlaid, and that has meant New Zealand have touched down. The other boats are on the foils, so we've got the French going to the left-hand mark. This is a problem for Emirates Team New Zealand. They squeezed for the mark, fell off the foils. Could see a lead change here, and it will be Orient Express Racing on the foils, round the mark clean.
I mean, what a leg from Orient Express Racing to just keep their boat up and foiling, get through those manoeuvres and get round that mark, foiling away from the rest of the fleet. Absolutely amazing.
Well, considering Orient Express Racing prior to the start had touchdown and was struggling to get up on their foils.
Exactly, and now it is New Zealand struggling to get on the foils. In the meantime, it will be Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli, sailed right round underneath Emirates Team New Zealand. So they will be happy about that one. Next jibe will be crucial.
Ride this out, you got 150 at about. Try, keep the speed.
So American Magic have round the top mark for the first time. Just take a look at that board. Orient Express Racing, Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli, American Magic, Emirates Team New Zealand, Lingy Red Bull Racing, Ineos Britannia still looking for them.
Yeah, and it looks light coming back across the middle of the course on Orient Express Racing.
Race committee, you've got to get the helicopters away.
Their angle coming back out of that jibe, it almost looked like they were going back upwind. They had to keep it so high. Glenn, can you talk to us a little bit about what it's like in these boats in this condition?
Race committee, we really need helicopters away. We are really struggling here.
Not sure Glenn can quite hear us, so we'll go back to him in a bit.
New Zealand have still not got on the foils. They've had to tack, and now they're coming back towards the gate. So they're literally sailing back and forth across, reaching across the top of the course, not having any luck getting on the foils. Once you fall off the foils, you lose all that energy, all that ability to get the flow over the foils, to lift it out of the water, and that was brought about by slightly underlaying the top mark.
Well, stranger things have happened. Here come a Lingy Red Bull Racing approaching the top mark for the first time.
This is the race committee. We are shortening this course to 4 legs. Shortening to 4 legs.
So we are a quarter of the way through the race now. Originally 6 legs, down to 4.
Well, for Orient Express Racing, they'll be happy to hear with down to 4 legs, 2 laps. Keep it on the foils, keep pushing. Oh, they get a touchdown. Oh, it's getting right at the bottom end.
Boundary penalty, Italy. Boundary penalty, Italy.
We just saw 2 guys to leeward, Kevin Pepinay and Jason Saunders, just getting up out of the cockpit and going to the windward side. Glenn, what are those guys doing down there?
Breeze is dropping slowly here. Luna Rossa, I think, the only one. Looks like they're just touching down there, coming out of it. Breeze has definitely dropped about a knot compared to what it was when we started. So very unfortunate, but Mother Nature dealing another crucial blow to this racing. So be interesting to see how it pans out over the next little bit. But yeah, unfortunately, just a little breeze drop here.
Well, now, Glenn, we're in the situation if one of the boats can get back on the foils, they could steal a bit of a march here. How do you...
Yeah, look, there's breeze actually rolling down the right-hand side of the course at the moment. So I think the boats that are actually heading over towards the right-hand side of the course looking upwind, there's just a fraction more pressure there. So I think American Magic heading over here will possibly be the first boat back on the foils potentially. So it is a tricky race when you start low riding in these boats. They are not designed to be displacement yachts. They're very much designed to be in the air. So the crews will be doing everything they possibly can to look for that next line of pressure to do everything they can to get back on the foils again.
Any thoughts on why Emirates Team New Zealand are so high on the course?
I think the guys did a little mistake just at the top there. They probably didn't realise just how light the breeze was at the top end of the course, possibly just tacked a click too early to make it round that right turn. And when you've got to squeeze the boat up into the breeze when you're trying to accelerate, you're actually losing speed when you're actually wanting to build speed. So a little mistake there possibly, and that's cost them dearly coming off the foils. And once you're off the foils, you need about a knot increase in pressure to get yourself back up again compared to when you're already foiling.
Just talk us through, Glenn, these guys out of their cockpit. What are they trying to do? What are they trying to achieve?
They're actually looking to just increase the righting moment of the boat slightly. So in an old school displacement sense, they'll actually be trying to put more weight on the windward rail. So to actually help with the boat rolling over, to be able to use a little more power in the rig. As the foils are going quite slowly through the water, they don't generate much riding moment compared to what the rig is. So the boats actually want to fall over when they're not going very fast. So they'll jump out of the cockpit and they'll try and swing the boat down until they're going fast. They can also see the breeze a bit better from standing up, and they'll be doing everything they can to spot that next puff.
Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli, Jimmy Spittel and Francesco Bruni asking for the helicopters, Heli 1 and Heli 2, to go away. Let's just see what is going through their head at the moment.
No, it's coming back. I'll just leave the flap like around 6
Luna
or 7
Rossa, Prada Pirelli.
No, I think you, we can do that. We can do that.
And do the jib outer here.
Wait, yeah, nice guys. I don't want to oversteer, you know.
Yeah, copy.
We're doing a good job. We're maybe a little bit slower than the Americans, but VMG wise, I don't see us losing here.
So Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli have actually flagged away trying to get on the foils. They're sailing displacement mode, so they're sailing a deeper angle, pointing closer to the bottom mark, just trying to increase the gauge, increase that gauging distance from American Magic.
Nice. That's the way to do it, guys.
Good to coming down with this way.
7 knots. Americans are doing a little higher mode.
You have to love how calm they are on these boats. You know, they're racing for points, remember? 10 points for first, 7 for second, 5 for third. It goes 3, 2, 1, and those with the most points by the end of racing tomorrow get to match race of final, a good old match race, which we're looking forward to. But we always said at the beginning of this regatta, you know, if you drop these boats down, you're in trouble. So now you get to see sailors at their best, the best sailing teams, because they're all on one design boats.
Yeah, and mode change. There's a mode change here. Glenn, just talk to us a little bit about Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli. They're sailing with the main sheet out. They looks like they're sailing like boats that I used to sail in, mate.
High performance sailing sometimes, you know, requires you to change gears, and when you've got a gearbox as big as these AC40s, the gear that you don't really want to use is the displacement gear. But these guys have all, you know, sailed these boats around the track, and, you know, like seeing a Formula One race in the wet in heinous conditions, it really brings out the best of the drivers. You know, it really is quite a leveler. So these guys have all done a lot of displacement sailing growing up over the years, and sometimes, you know, those lessons that you learn actually growing up, you know, you can put into these high performance boats, and they'll be looking well up the track at the moment, looking for what's coming down, basing their moding off all the other boats.
This is the race committee.
They'll be trying their hardest.
We are shortening this race to 2 legs. Finish at the leeward gate.
So you heard race committee say we're on the final run home.
Yeah, absolute sprint to the bottom marks here. I mean, I'd be interested how much sailing these guys have done in displacement mode. I feel like they might be learning on the job here.
Well, it's not what the boats are designed for, and it's not something you'd necessarily see it as a high priority. 2 legs down to the finish. Time limits are starting to come into play. 10 minutes a leg, 20 minutes for the race.
So they're on the last half of the race course, and currently Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli sit in the pole position for that 10 points, followed by Orient Express Racing, American Magic, Alinghi Red Bull Racing, Ineos Britannia, and Emirates Team New Zealand, the defender for the 37th America's Cup. Mother Nature has been cruel this weekend so far.
Yeah, she's not making it easy for these teams out there. And, you know, with the downwind leg to the finish, the fear when you're near the front in this type of condition is that, you know, the wind starts to fill in from behind, and the boats behind will get that next patch of breeze before you. So it's always pretty stressful when you're leading, the wind's gone light, and it's the final leg to the finish.
Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, full displacement mode. Sails eased out, just trying to get down to the finish as they now go into a jibe. And this will be a little bit painful for them as they now turn the boat through basically 90 degrees to try and build a bit of acceleration.
So Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, like the rest of the fleet, in a stalemate position. Weather has decided that it went from 6 legs down to 2 legs. So we're on the run home, and run is pushing it. We're on the crawl home, but it doesn't matter. Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli sitting in the #1 position, and they're looking for wind. Orient Express Racing, top left of your screen. They're the new kids on the block, but we're heading in towards the last quarter of the field of players, you might say.
Just look at that advantage line, so 90 degrees to the course. Orient Express Racing look to have quite a nice angle coming over from the right-hand side. They're looking directly over at Luna Rossa Prada coming across. American Magic are coming across. I'm just looking to see where the French team are.
So come on, Glenn, on the water. Who are you going to call? We've got Orient Express Racing coming from the left-hand side, and we've got Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli from the right. What's it looking like?
I think Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli are looking just like they're just a little in front at the moment, doing a really nice job actually in these conditions to keep the foil arms clear of the water, keeping the platform nice and level, keeping that leeward foil arm, which is actually a big carbon fibre arm, which actually holds the whole weight of the boat and crew up out of the water. Just keeping that out of the water at the moment. It's normally well and truly in the air, but keeping that up out of the water is key. Having said that, though, the French are pretty handy and pretty slippery in the light airs, and they might have actually just got a little puff down that side. It's going to actually be quite close coming down here. I'll hand it back to you guys to see what you think.
Well, what we think right now is we see that the French are closing in on Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. As you can see in the bottom of the screen, you can see Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli on the lead, and the gap to Orient Express Racing sits around 3 to 4 meters in what wind we are dealing with.
Yeah, and Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli are on starboard, so they have the right of way. So Orient Express Racing coming back across here. If they're any sort of collision course, they're going to have to get out of the way, and it looks like they think they might be across.
Yeah, it's a pretty aggressive move. So that is Orient Express jibing right on the top, and we could actually see now that the French team, Orient Express, have put themselves in a difficult position being the windward boat. I'm a bit surprised that they jibed there, given that the teams still have at least 1 or 2 jibes before they can get down to the finish. So now we've got Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli coming over towards the right-hand side. Orient Express heading towards the centre of the track, but when they come back on the next jibe, again it will be advantage to the Italians.
Umpires, we are protesting France.
What number were you on, Dre? 78.
I'm amazed at the French jibe there, putting themselves in a really tough spot. I think they must have thought they were across and then thought maybe not, so put a jibe in, and yeah, they've put themselves...
Umpires, Italy, we protested Team France.
This is the umpires, penalty Italy, relative France.
Wow. That's interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. Okay.
So the decision has gone in favour of Orient Express Racing in terms of that intersection. Francesco Bruni.
Can you see on the screen if we're losing? I think we're almost jibing here, Kiko.
Penalty clear, penalty clear.
So we've got another look at that incident here. So it looks like the French boat completed their jibe. Yeah, that looks like a tough one to call.
I'm sure that it will be talked about after the race.
I'm not sure about you, but if I was Kevin Tepano sitting on that port home, I was looking at that rather large foil coming at me, just slightly concerned.
This is not over yet, though. We've got another intersection coming up, and it will be Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli who is right away, although it does look like Orient Express Racing have got a nice little roll on there. And of course, with that penalty, Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli did have to allow, it gave an advantage in terms of distance on the water to Orient Express Racing.
So they are heading towards the finish line on a shortened race in the opening race of this preliminary regatta here in Vilanova Geltrú. And they say it doesn't matter how you win, so long as you win. And in many ways, this is the first upset of the regatta, because the team that hasn't had their boat as long as anyone else is going to get the win. Orient Express Racing take maximum 10 points from the first race. They may not have raced across the line, but they got across the line, and it should see Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli take the 7 points for second spot.
Yeah, that was unexpected. Amazing result for Orient Express Racing. They've only had their AC40 for 3 weeks. They've done a lot of time in the simulator leading up to this, but not a lot of time racing the AC40, so an absolutely brilliant performance for them in race 1.
Happy on board.
And that's important. I think, you know, you confidence comes with a win no matter how you get the win. And confidence then flows throughout a team.
Yeah, I mean, a win's a win, you know. No one remembers what the conditions were like. It's a win on the board. That's a phenomenal performance. Really pleased for those guys.
And you know what? Well deserved considering their start.
But they just kept their heads down, and it's about dealing with difficult situations. And I think that's a sign of a very composed team, good decision making as American Magic drift down towards the line.
How teams manage difficult situations is a good sign moving forward.
Well, it's a sign that they didn't panic. And at that same time, they were off the foils, and we go right back to the start. They recovered from that. They looked at what was happening ahead of them. The New Zealanders made a bit of a mistake, just slightly underlaying Mark 1, and they pounced.
Should be just through there.
Cop.
Now.
American Magic getting their nose over the line. A little over 2 minutes behind Orient Express Racing, but they are finished and will pick up 5 points for the third placing. The official opening day of racing in the first preliminary regatta for the 37th America's Cup, and confirmation of racing and points. Now, you may have seen Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli finish second, but officially they did not start because they weren't behind the line. So the other three teams that didn't make it across, they were given points at the top markers where they were standing. So Orient Express Racing get the maximum 10 points, followed by American Magic. Emirates Team New Zealand pick up 5 points. Alinghi Red Bull Racing 3, Ineos Britannia 2, and Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli get the old donut.